He's cool at the Gotham City Museum.
The whole world is experiencing a massive heat wave, and our friends might want to consider a different destination.
The Gotham City Museum is under attack.
The museum is being attacked? By whom?
It says here, attacked by a giant plant.
Batman and Robin are in that area.
They find the museum covered in the fastest growing ivy they've ever seen. Are we going to see poison ivy?
Holy hothouse! Batman, look at that!
Will Robin and Batman be able to save the Gotham City Museum's valuable art treasures?
I suppose it depends on whether that thing eats art treasures or not, now doesn't it?
Let's go.
Can you give me a hand, Batman?
Batman and Robin, realizing their strength is no match for the giant ivy, turned the wildly growing plant's own strength against itself. A case of sheer mind over matter.
Yes, they put their thinking caps on and came up with a solution. I'm not sure that's what mind over matter means, though.
Now come on, let's go talk to them.
As Marvin, Wendy, and Wonder Dog leave to join their super friends, a strange figure is seen standing nearby. A man oddly dressed for the sudden scorching heat of this day.
If he's trying to look like a human, he's doing a really bad job of it. Hey, dude, that big empty spot in the middle of your face, a nose is supposed to go there. The Justice League headquarters has a gallery of photos, figurines, and such that serve as mementos of past victories. It includes life-size wax figures of the Justice Leaguers, so its temperature is carefully controlled.
Uh-oh, something's wrong.
I'll say, and it's sure getting awfully hot in here.
Do you see anything?
No, there doesn't seem... Holy smokes, Wendy!
The wax figures are melting.
The air conditioning's overheated.
We better get the costumes out before they're ruined.
Or not. While they're doing that, the Super Friends have their own problems.
Great Scott!
Holy confusion!
It's unbelievable.
If those crumbling glaciers aren't stopped, whole continents will be swamped.
Great Hera!
What is it, Wonder Woman?
That's Dairyland.
Dairyland? It looks like a desert.
Wonder Woman takes off to help Dairyland while Superman flies to the North Pole to see what he can do with the melting glaciers. Meanwhile, a certain island is threatened by rising water.
Thanks, friends. I'll get off here.
Oh, please teach me how to do that. It looks like a blast.
Rising waters from the melting glaciers threaten to destroy the buildings and ships of this important Pacific island. Aquaman uses mental telepathy, calling his ocean friends for help. Responding to Aquaman's signal, the great beasts rush to protect the stricken island, forming a living breakwater against the ocean's fury. It works! The island is saved.
Question? For how long? Rising ocean levels don't go back down, so are they prepared to stay there indefinitely? I foresee them getting hungry.
High above the polar cap, Superman, with his telescopic vision, spots a group of Eskimos fleeing their village, which lies in the path of an impending avalanche.
I can personally vouch for the fact that in 1977, almost nobody in America knew that these people never called themselves Eskimos. That was a name the European invaders gave them. The vast majority of folks are Inuit, but our civics and geography books didn't mention it. All dwellers up in the frozen north were lumped under the single term Eskimo. What does it mean? Nobody knows for sure. Apparently, French explorers and trappers came up with it, and its origin is lost in the mists of time. Superman flits around, catching the big chunks of ice and tossing them into the water, thus adding to the whole problem of rising sea levels. Sometimes superheroes don't think everything through.
Superman! Superman! Dairyland needs water desperately!
Coming right up, Wonder Woman.
Superman, realizing that millions of gallons of fresh water lie frozen in the Arctic glacier, smashes the polar cliff into gigantic ice cubes.
Why? He was just carrying what she needed. Why not give her that one and save both time and sea level? As I said, sometimes these people don't think everything through.
Would you like them gift wrapped and delivered?
No thanks, I can handle it.
He still hasn't figured out that showering her with gifts won't win her heart or any other body parts. They lash a couple of icebergs to Wonder Woman's plane and she takes them to Dairyland.
Thank you, Athena. I arrived in time.
To which Superman could only say, "Excuse me?"
Marvin, you've been wearing Robin's mask all morning. Now stop messing around and give me a hand.
All right, all right.
The exploding thermometer has been a staple of cartoons for as long as cartoons have been around, probably.
Let's get these things packed away before something else happens to them.
What's the rush? I mean, what else could possibly happen to them? Hey!
This is Marvin, so we expect him to ask a dangerous question like that. The heat has set off the sprinklers. He'll take care of it.
Now you're really gonna see something. My super automatic auto jack.
But Marvin, we only have to...
Silence, girl. The super genius you see before you is going to have himself raised to the ceiling. All I have to do is turn off the sprinkler heads.
There's this remarkable new invention called a ladder. You may find it's a little more stable than...
Hey!
Never mind. Wendy was trying to point out that he doesn't need to go up there at all.
Marvin, all you had to do was turn the water off here at this valve.
But that isn't funny. She needs to consult Roger Rabbit about this.
There's a CD queue on the SBI screen. Someone wants
A BLT?
us.
Oh. It's Colonel Wilcox. He wants the Super Friends to get over to the City Observatory at once.
I'd like you to meet Professor Von Noelat. Professor, these are the members of the Justice League of America.
I am pleased to meet all of you. Excuse me one moment. Gentlemen, Miss Wonder Woman, we have to work fast. As you probably know, the Earth has been experiencing a strange and catastrophic heat wave.
The world's top scientists, like Professor Noelat, have been working around the clock to discover the cause of this mysterious atmospheric condition.
If you can't trust a scientist named Noelat, you can't trust anybody. They've found the reason for the heat wave, but they haven't found the ultimate cause. Some force is pulling the Earth out of its orbit and closer to the sun. At the rate it's going, in 2 days, the Earth will be uninhabitable. But they don't know what the force is or what to do about it.
What are you doing to those photostats from the SDI screen?
Wendy, look at this. This guy here. Kind of odd to be wearing all those hot clothes in a heat wave, wouldn't you say?
Look, he's in this photo too.
Here he is again. That one.
He's in all of them. They need to show this to the Super Friends.
Excuse me, Superman. Can I see you a second?
In just a moment, Wendy. The professor is explaining something very important.
He's explaining what we already know. Earth is in deep doo-doo. They're pretty sure they have pictures of the guy doing it, but science before sleuthing, I guess. Speaking of sleuthing...
What's the matter with him?
He wants us to come with him. Maybe he saw something.
Not something, someone. He manages to communicate that he saw the guy in their pictures. They spot him too.
Come on, let's go find him.
Marvin, we better go tell the Super Friends.
But we don't have time.
Marvin, we'll just get into trouble again. Now, I promised Batman we'd stay out of trouble.
Oh, come on. We won't go far. Just see if we can catch up to him.
I don't like this. Your ideas are always getting us into messes I have to get us out of.
Yeah, that was a common trope in the 70s, girl power, equality of the sexes. I'm not sure Hollywood understood the meaning of equality because we went from the 60s model of the rational, wise husband and the not-too-bright wife to just the opposite, these two. This is how it goes in America. Swing too far one way, correct it by swinging too far the other way, and eventually we settle down in the middle where we should be. It's been like that with every major issue that's ever come up since the country existed. Let's face it, we Americans are a race of extremists. Will we ever learn? I don't know, but I can just about guarantee if it does happen, I won't live to see it. Of course, if this heat wave keeps getting worse, nobody will.
Some sort of botanical garden with an old-fashioned fire engine.
Yeah. Well, I guess he got away.
Wendy kept insisting they go tell the Super Friends about this guy, but Marvin kept insisting they don't have time, he might get away. Yeah.
What about magnetism?
Magnetism, of course, that could be our answer. Professor Von Noelat, has there been any significant increase in magnetism lately?
Magnetism is very high on our list of possible causes. I am running a check on it with this computerized data collector.
Sure enough, somewhere out there is a giant magnet of some kind, and it's what's pulling the Earth toward the sun. So what do we do about it?
We must reverse the magnetic pull of the Earth. But how? If we could send a coil of copper wire whirling about the Earth at tremendous speed, we could create a counter-magnetic force.
But we don't even have planes that can move that fast.
So speed is important, eh?
Very important.
We know just the man for the job.
Flash.
I'm pretty sure you need electricity somewhere in the process, but we won't talk about that. The Flash is helping out with some stuff in India if you're British and have a big mustache, or India if you're anybody else.
In India, the intense heat wave has created a thermo-geophysical shock wave. The resulting earthquake is dangerously shaking the Indian sacred shrine, the Taj Mahal.
I'm not sure how sacred it is to the people, but it's definitely super important to them.
To the rescue comes the world's fastest human being, the Flash.
Hurry, Flash.
That's what I do best, Mr. Singh.
My mistake. It was super important to them. His super speed made him strong enough to lift those huge stones and all the rest. Hey, we do not talk like that around here. Superman appears and tells Flash, we need you at headquarters at once. If I was the Flash, I'd say, okay, take me there. But he prefers to run. He's not as lazy as I am.
Greetings, Kobar. How is your assignment going?
As we planned, Lupus. I have just come from the observatory. The Earth keeps getting closer to the sun.
Good. The time is about right. We will be seeing you soon. Take care of yourself and keep warm. You're our only hope.
Don't worry about me. Over and out.
Further conversations will give us a clearer picture. They live on a super hot planet, but for whatever reason, it's cooling off and they can't handle it. So they're basically terraforming Earth into a place where they can live. The fact that everything else that lives here will die is a trifling incidental.
We lost him here.
Almost like he disappeared in thin air.
It certainly seems suspicious.
There must be some connection.
Perhaps. Show me the photographs.
Show her the photos, Wendy.
Me? I thought you had them.
I don't have them.
Kobar has them. He picked them up while they were trying to find him. And notice what he's driving. Marvin had a feeling something's missing from the garden, but even Wendy won't notice an entire fire truck has vanished.
Here you are, Speedy.
Well, I'm off. I'll have this wrapped up in a flash.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Racing around the Earth as only he can, the Flash continues to increase his velocity till he's but a mere blur to the naked eye, circling the globe at unbelievable speed. The repelling force begins.
In his lab under a volcano in the Pacific, Kobar is distressed to report that the temperature is dropping again. He can't figure out why. Considering what's happening and where he is, who could? Lucas doesn't care. He knows what to do.
Switch to the quadratronic nth degree charge and hurry.
Are you sure, Lupus? That could be dangerous.
We have no choice. We must.
You know, instead of going to all this trouble, you could just go colonize Mercury or Venus. Either one should be hot enough for you. Is that a thing they do on his planet, or did he learn it from us? Either way, his thingy is working. Marvin, Wendy, and Wonder Dog are heading off on Marvin's scooter, but it's so hot the tires are melting.
What'll we do?
I guess we'll have to... Wendy, look!
It's just an old fire engine, like the one at the observatory.
It's the same one. That's what was missing when we came back to the garden with Wonder Woman. That's how we got away.
Where do you suppose he is?
I don't know. I'll watch the fire engine while you call the Justice League. Uh-oh, here he comes.
He's been at the Weather Bureau, which doesn't sound good for us.
Marvin realizes they must not let him get away again. Using a piece of paper he finds in the front seat of the fire engine, Marvin scribbles a hasty note and entrusts it to Wonder Dog.
Here, Wonder Dog. I'm counting on you to take this note back to the Justice League. Don't let me down, old buddy.
What do a fire hydrant, a seagull, and a dump truck full of dirt have in common? Answer, they're all obstacles he'll encounter because he's the comedy relief, and he will keep you laughing. Every time he thinks he's defeated, he remembers Marvin say, "I'm counting on you," and pulls himself up again.
Here he comes.
We can't let him get away.
Well, we can't chase after this thing on foot.
Then there's only one thing to do.
Wait a minute, Marvin. I'm not going to climb in there.
I haven't got time to argue, Wendy. Now you...
They're going to discover that this is no ordinary antique fire truck. His real name is Kobar, but when he's in disguise, he goes by Professor Pat Pending. He's famous for the converter car. Marvin and Wendy find themselves on Kobar's volcanic island.
Did you see that?
Yes. Where do you think we are?
I don't know, but let's get out of this thing before he comes back.
While they search for a way into the cave they saw, the Super Friends are learning that the Earth is once again moving toward the sun, and this time a few coils won't stop it.
This time it is not magnetism. It is some totally unknown kind of power, unlike anything we have here on Earth.
Have you been able to trace the source of the new power?
Yes, Miss Wonder Woman. It's coming from the far side of the sun.
Then perhaps I'd better take a look.
Since he's the only one who can survive in space, yeah, good idea. Marvin has figured out that there's probably a button to open the rock in the spaceship. By some miracle, he finds the right one on the first try.
Is it not ironic, Lupus? We who are capable of creating such wondrous mechanisms have fallen prey to a simple calamity of our own making.
But we have learned our lesson, Kobar. With this second chance, we shall plan our way of living with greater care.
This is the first hint about what's happening on their planet. I'm gonna say the machines are taking over and they don't like it so hot.
The solar robot has detected some kind of disturbance in its vicinity. Stand by, Lupus. I'll get right back to you.
In outer space, that robot senses a visitor. Superman, unbowed the Man of Steel, continues. And a second fiery challenge hurtles toward him.
It has lots more defenses than that, none of which involve kryptonite, so they won't stop Superman.
Now, with all his mighty strength, Superman literally flings the robot on a scorching path toward the heat of the sun.
Now Kobar's in trouble. His machinery is zapping and zopping and zooping all over the place, and he can't communicate with his robot.
What is happening, Kobar?
Our solar robot, it's malfunctioning.
Then clear the malfunction. Fix it.
He can't fix something that's not there, especially by remote control.
I have failed.
The kids will come upon him in that condition. Both of them are immediately feeling compassion for him. At headquarters, Wonder Dog has arrived with Marvin's note.
We found the man in the overcoat and are following him. We'll report later.
Where could they be?
There's something written on the back of the note, Robin.
It's some sort of time schedule.
Let me see it.
But what does it mean? They'll try running it through the computer without results.
I have an idea. Let me try something. The spectral analyzer will tell us if there's anything unusual about the kind of paper the note's on. It's just paper. But there is some unusual dust on it.
What kind of dust?
It's a volcanic dust.
Volcanic ash.
Marvin did get it from the spaceship, so that makes sense.
Along with the volcanic ash, some ocean coral particles.
That means the Pacific Ocean. That's where coral grows.
Yeah, there's no coral in the Atlantic. Everybody knows that. I don't know what all that stuff that forms the second largest reef in the world along the coast of Honduras and Belize is, but it sure ain't coral. Superman said so. And now Aquaman knows where they are.
A volcano in the Pacific. Let me see that schedule again. Of course, these times are all 3 hours and 10 minutes apart. There's a volcanic island south of Bora Bora. The natives call Malabar.
What's that have to do with the time schedule?
Malabar's the only active volcano in the world that erupts every 3 hours and 10 minutes.
I assume Malabar means Old Faithful.
So that's his hideout, Malabar.
We'd better not waste any more time.
Come on, Wonder Dog. We're going for a ride.
Where's Wonder Woman?
I'm a failure. A complete and utter failure.
Why did you want to move the Earth closer to the sun anyway, Mr. Kobar?
My planet, Solaterrarium, is freezing up. It's so cold that we have decided to move. We were hoping to come to Earth to live. You see, we need a constant temperature of 140 degrees to live comfortably.
Again, Mercury. That's the place for you guys.
But Earthlings can't live in a 140-degree temperature. We'd roast.
We meant you no harm, but we had no choice.
They meant us no harm. They were just going to cook us all to death. And there are zillions of other choices out there that aren't already inhabited.
Why is your planet getting so cold?
When our industry was just getting into full swing, about the way your planet is today, our wisest men warned us against exhausting our resources and ruining our planet. But the people laughed at them. There was more than enough land and water. We thought we'd never have to worry. Then black clouds of smoke began to build up around our world. They blocked the rays of our sun from getting through.
Can you see what's coming yet? They've exhausted all their resources for generating heat, so they're pretty well screwed. The Super Friends have arrived.
You did it, Wonder Dog. You got my message to the Justice League.
Oh, shucks, 'twarn't nothing. The kids explain Kobar's problem and wonder if the Super Friends can do anything for him and his world.
Using Malabar's molten lava, Superman forges a giant glass bubble to transport his friends swiftly through space on a direct course for the planet of Solaterrarium.
Unfortunately, he miscalculated how much oxygen they would need, so by the time they got to Solaterrarium, he had to do everything himself.
The job, a giant cleanup. Aquaman handles the waterways. Superman tackles the air. The Flash gives Aquaman a timely assist with a helpful tornado.
I'm not sure how helpful it is, since tornadoes tend to fling everything everywhere, but give him points for trying. Superman is making me laugh. By the time he got back to Earth, he was a thoroughly addicted smoker. And by the way, what good is sucking it in and then blowing it right back out where it came from? You can't recycle smog.
Working together, Superman, Aquaman, and the Flash quickly clean up the planet of Solaterrarium. The dirt, dust, smoke, and trash goes spinning into space. Up, up into the Solaterrarium sun, finally vaporizing in its intense heat.
Oh, my next question? How did he separate out the smog and not send half their atmosphere into the sun?
The sun! It is shining!
Wow! Feel that warmth?
Warmth is right. You're already beginning to sunburn, Marvin.
Look at that! We better get off this planet before we're all well done.
He's not wrong. Let's go.
Things sure are clear up here when you don't have to see them through a haze.
It is beautiful.
But the only way it will stay beautiful is if each of us feels it's partly his job.
When you think about it, humans, you, me, everybody, we're the only creatures able to upset the balance of nature.
I feel an overwhelming urge to say, set phasers on stun.
And the only ones able to maintain it.
Like Kobar and his people discovered.
You can't just move out. I guess we'd better take good care of our planet.
Marvin, you said it. It's the only home we have.
That's right. The whole episode was a lesson in environmentalism. And it was one of the best I've ever seen. Our planet is just the opposite of Solaterrarium. We're getting warmer and it's our own fault. Now, don't try to argue with me in the comments. I follow the science, and it's pretty obvious that we are driving climate change. We need to stop doing that before the world gets too hot for us to handle. See, it's like this. When it's cold, you can always put on another layer. But when it's hot, you can only peel off so much without getting arrested. Thing eats or eat me to do in geography what question like that, don't bait yourself. Sure enough, bring out with this island but oh man, I was so close. Where's Wonder Woman? Are you going to find her?